in Teams, you can add apps to Teams. And I'm gonna, so in the very bottom here, on the left, you can see this add apps button. And I did make my cursor very bright and pink. That is intentional. I do not work like this every day. It's horrible and very distracting, but I think for this particular case, it will be very helpful.
It's beautiful. Good job. Good memory on that. It's beautiful.
All right, so by going to add apps, this allows me to add additional things. For example, maybe I love using Power BI. I can type in Power BI and hopefully find the Power BI app. Here it is. And this lets me open up Power BI right inside of Teams. So if I love Power BI, I can go there. And now you see on the left side here how that is pinned, or who's sitting there on my left side. I can right click on that, and mine was already pinned, but I can unpin it or pin it now. So there's some pretty cool apps inside of Teams. Power BI is a great one that I use often. There's also the Copilot app. There's Viva Engage, which we're going to come back to a little bit. The Meet app. We use Jira quite a bit. So I have a Jira app in here, Microsoft Planner, some approvals. There's all sorts of other ones, workflows, updates, connections, places, Power Apps. So tons of apps. And if you're ever like using something often and it's something you interact with all the time, go in, check, see if there's an app. There is I believe there's a Monday.com app. I believe there's a Procore app. So lots of good stuff in here. One of my favorite apps is the Meet app. So I love to come in here and use this to handle my kind of like next session. So this tells me what's up next in my calendar. And you can see that I have my part 2. This is the webinar we're in right now. You can see it's running. I can jump into it. Of course, I'm already in this meeting. I can even go right into the chat for it. This also shows me my upcoming meetings. And let's say that I was running late for this meeting. I can use my little chat with participants, which will pop open a meeting link or a meeting window. And I'll drag that over to this screen. This is a recurring meeting, so you can see some of that history. And I can say, I'm running late. I'm sure it's going to confuse everybody because this meeting's not for a while, but that's okay. So this is a really great way to jump into the chat for a meeting or jump into the meeting itself. One of the other really cool things about that is you can see your recent meetings. So you can see all your meetings that you've had recently. You can see just the ones here that have content. So if there's an attachment or a recording or something that you might want to go back to, you can see just the meetings that you've missed. Just the recorded meetings. And if you're recorded and you have Copilot, you can also see the meetings that you were mentioned in. So from here, we have our recorded meetings. And I've got a few meetings here. But a couple of weeks ago, we had this Power BI workshop. So if I type in Power for Power BI, this is helping me find my recorded meeting. And it can open up a meeting recap. I did just see somebody said the Meet app doesn't show up in my Teams. It won't be here right away. So hit this little ... here, and you can type Meet. And you should be able to find it that way. And if not, you can press the Add Apps. All right, so back to our Meet app. This is our recorded meeting. I can view the recap. So if you have Microsoft 365 Copilot, the paid version, you get AI recaps of all of your recorded meetings, which is super, super helpful in many cases. So of course we have the video, which you do not need a Copilot license for. But if you have the Copilot license, you can see the different speakers and when they spoke. You can see the topics that were covered, and you can see the different chapters. This meeting happened to be something like a 5-hour meeting, so there's a lot of chapters because it was a half-day workshop on how to use Power BI. But it's very cool. You can also see an AI summary here, and you can even drill in to see additional information about that AI summary. In the bottom of this AI summary, you have some follow-up tasks as well. And then that mentions, this is if somebody says your name, it will show up in here and you'll get to see a little snippet of that transcript. So this is the recap feature that's easily accessible from the Meet app, but it's also accessible from your calendar and a few other places as well. All right, so let's talk about some links in Teams. So I'm going to switch to a different screen here. So I'm in a demo environment here. And all of you have probably been in this situation where you were sent a link to a file that's in OneDrive or SharePoint in Teams. And when you click on this link, it opens it up in a web browser, or sometimes it opens it up in Teams. And I know a lot of people are like, that's so annoying. I don't want to use it in a web browser or Teams. I want to use the desktop app. So if we go back to Teams here, if I hit this little ... in the very bottom right of that link that was shared with me, I have an open in, and I can say UC browser is default. I have Teams if I want to open it up in Teams, and desktop. And if you always want in desktop, you even have this change default option, which is very new. And you can change it to default to opening in the desktop. So if I hit desktop, it does exactly what you think it would do, and it opens up Word in the desktop app on your computer, ready to go.